After I kept requesting numerous occasions since this happened for the conservation to bring their dog that they use for sniffing out shell casings and stuff like that. I know the conservation took him up there, took their dog up there today, this morning, and they went over the scene. So at this point, from here on out, we're gonna have to be patient, because I asked the conservation agent that called me. Actually, the conservation agent that I talked to that was so nasty with me Friday night, he actually called me tonight to apologize to me.
Well, there's been a couple of 100,000 people that have listened to your story about how nasty he was to you too.
Well, I will say, he called to apologize, but he didn't know who he was apologizing to. He thought he was apologizing to the hunter or to the handler, not the person that owned the dog, which kind of blew me away when he said, "Well, you're just the handler, correct?" I said, "Oh, no, sir. I own the dog." "Well, who was this so-and-so?" I said, "That guy was just along on the cast. He was the one that was in the truck that had, his chickens weren't scattered. He was trying to make sense of things and make rational decisions. He was the one that called you. He wasn't the one that was the victim." And he's like, "Oh, I apologize." So this guy, I mean, I accepted his apology, but I won't be dealing with him whatsoever. I'll be dealing with his supervisor, because you call somebody and you don't even know who it is you're calling, or the circumstances around the person you're calling. You called me to talk about my dog that was dead, and you thought I was just a handler.
Right. I got you.
When my name, my phone number, my son's name is plastered all over social media right now. He should have done his homework before he called to make an apology, is all I got to say.
Well, he shouldn't have acted like that in the first place. There's a way to handle it and a way not to handle it. If you called me on my personal phone on Easter weekend on my day off, I probably would have said, I can't handle it right now. Let me take down your information. And can I call you when I'm back in the office? I'll be back in the office Monday, Sunday, whenever I was going back. But the way you said he acted, and I don't know if that got picked up on the original phone call or not, but the way you said he acted.
I reminded him on the phone tonight. I reminded him exactly how he reacted and how he acted toward me and how I felt about that. And this time I used my colorful language that I use sometimes, and I let him know what I thought he was being.
We call that Sunday school language around here.
Yeah. Well, he got
Sunday school language.
Yeah, that's what he got. He got a little bit of it, and I don't think he was expecting what I give him.
Sometimes people forget what public servant means.
It is what it is. I just as soon not even have to deal with him. I will deal with the sheriff. I will deal with the deputy, the deputy sergeants that I went out there with. A deputy and I was out there for almost 3 hours yesterday, walking around, looking at the scenario, looking at the looking at the scenario, looking at the situation, the angle of where she was standing, the way she was laying, everything. We didn't not turn over any stones that were available. He was taking his notes and he was taking pictures on his phone, and I was explaining things to him, what kind of dog she was, how she would treat, where she would be, the way she'd speak. Katie was one of those picture perfect cookie cutter dogs. She did not do nothing different anytime. It was the same thing every time, every treat, every night, now if she missed a day of her thyroid pill, you take her hunting that night, she looked like an idiot. Mm-hmm. She'd be running around the timber like a freaking young pup, being stupid, treeing up everything. It just, like, man, what is wrong with this retarded dog? But as long as her meds were in her, and that's where Hunter come in. I told Hunter, I said, well, not always am I going to be here of a morning, when she needs her pill. So you're going to have to give her pill before school all the time. And that's what he'd do. He'd get her pill, and on the way out the door to the bus, Katie was the first thing he'd see of the morning. He would give her a pill, and he'd make the bus. A lot of times he'd make the bus driver wait. He'd run out the door, go give his dog his pill, then run to the bus. The bus
I
driver
hear
be
you.
sitting there honking at him.
At least you got
But
some good memories, you know? You got
oh
good
man,
memories.